Hello, I'm Dave Feinlieb, and this is Beyond the Shelf. This show is an open exploration of the people and process behind e-commerce. Through conversations with innovators in the space, we learn the stories of these leaders and their strategies for e-commerce success. You can find out more about how we're helping leading brands and retailers like Pepsi and Instacart build retail media and product detail page content faster than ever before at itsrapid.ai. My guest on today's show is Neha Shah. Neha held a number of roles with Johnson & Johnson since beginning her career there. More recently, Neha worked with Kenvue as Senior Manager, eCommerce Organic Acceleration. Kenvue was formerly the Consumer Healthcare Division of Johnson & Johnson. She will be moving into a new position to diversify her experience starting right before we have this episode go live. And so we'll be publishing the episode and seeing her live in her new role. We discuss Neha's past experiences, what helped her make her career transitions in e-commerce, perspectives on testing new shopper and omni platforms, and her thoughts on the future of e-commerce. Please enjoy my conversation with Neha Shah. Neha, welcome to the show.
Thank you, David. Excited to be here.
Would you take us back? How did you get your start in the space?
Yeah. Wow. You're going to date me here, David. Let's see. My career spans over 15 years, if you really take a look at my full journey in the CPG space. But it's truly within the time that I've received my MBA from Villanova University. I went to get my MBA in marketing and strategic management. And that's where I started to really broaden my vision and understanding of the business, really in two ways. One, starting to look at my organization at that time from just a US organization, right, to a global conglomerate. And then also being in sales and marketing, really looking at the shopper and seeing how the shopper was evolving from not just purchasing in store at that time to purchasing in store and online. At the same time, the e-commerce footprint was very small. This was like 2011 to 2013. So although it was growing.
Hard to believe now, right?
Right, exactly. Although growth was there in the double digits, It still was a very small footprint internally, up against retailers like Walmart and Target, et cetera, at that time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was growing. It was growing fast. And there was the rise of mobile advertising at that time. So advertising beyond the desktop that was starting to grow. And you saw a lot of shifts happening in social media where, social media giants like Facebook and Twitter were starting to think about IPOing, if you remember that. And when Snapchat had just launched as well. So really, truly like the beginning of social media as well during that time. So just a lot of buzz, in the digital space. And I was hearing and seeing all of this evolve, and I wanted to learn more. And that's when I really, truly started to lean into these opportunities in e-commerce and omnichannel marketing and retail media. And that's what's propelled my journey in this space.
Tell me, was marketing and sales something that you always had an affinity for? Did you look at other parts of the business as well?
What's funny? I initially started my career not in sales or traditional marketing. I actually started my experience in trade marketing, where I was building, the displays that would go in store,
right,
for new product launches, et cetera. So it was a blend between marketing, operations, and forecasting. That's where I started, but I pivoted really early because it was the demand side of the business that got me excited. And that's where I pivoted really fast into both sales and marketing.
I'm glad you found the calling within the business side, which is great to hear about. J&J and Kenvue, we've all heard of. Tell us about your journey at these companies, amazing brands to work at and work with. What areas have you focused on, and how have you transitioned seamlessly between the different roles that you've had?
Yeah, it's a great question. If you take a look at my experience, it's really evolved in three main areas. I would say customer field sales initially, then moving into omnichannel marketing and retail media, and most recently within the e-commerce space. I mentioned that I pivoted really fast from my initial role into this side of the business, and I'm so happy I did. At this point, I've been able to touch multiple classes of trade, that range from grocery, drug, specialty, Amazon as well now. And it's my MBA that really has helped me to think bigger and broader beyond just like traditional sales and traditional marketing. My path has been nonlinear. At that time when I was starting off, you would hear a lot internally like, hey, this is what you need to get to the top in sales. This is where you need to go to get to the top to marketing. And it was all within silos. So like I had to touch upon these roles in sales to get to the top, or I had to do these roles in marketing to continue my leadership. But I truly let my interest and my passion lead my career choices. And that's led me to the space that I'm truly passionate about right now within e-commerce and omnichannel marketing and retail media. And I'm really looking forward to continuing to evolve, drive leadership, and change in this space.
You've had all these amazing roles.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about what you've learned about leadership, what are some things you can share with our listeners, maybe rules for the road or pearls of wisdom on being a great leader?
Being a great leader, I would say, one, involves listening and learning, my top two L's. By listening, you can hear where the challenges are. You can see where the opportunities are as well. And then at the same time, always be learning or in a learning mindset, especially in this space of e-commerce and omnichannel marketing and retail media. That will allow a leader to evolve within this space as it's changing. So that would be my biggest advice being in this space to the leaders of today.
I love it. And you had an early look at retail media. Now we're going to talk maybe a little about e-commerce, but tell us about those early days in retail media. Mention some of the platforms that you were looking at in the earlier e-commerce days and then at retail media. What was it like and kind of what's new and different now?
Yeah, early days involved a lot of opportunity, but not really understanding the results that you were going to achieve, right? So a lot of new news, I would say every week that I would be going into the office, there was a new retail media network that would be launching every week.
Right.
Which was really exciting. But at the same time, you have to really peel back the onion to see where the opportunity is, right? And from that perspective today, and having the understanding of working with these retail media networks, always starting with one, your organization's capabilities. So what can your organization support today? And also understand your customer, your customer's journey. Like, where are they shopping? Where do they want to interact with your brand? How are they receiving information today? And then on top of it, understanding your brand priorities. If you can bring those three things together, that will help you truly identify retail media network opportunities or retail media opportunities that you can lean into for your organization in a smart way without having fragmented investment, etc.
These are great. Now, you've had, as you mentioned, a number of different roles because I feel like customers truly at the center of what you do. Maybe we can talk a little about that and some of your other learnings from these roles.
Yes, customer at the center is key. One of the biggest reasons why, though, is truly understanding consumer behavior. And more so today than ever, consumer behavior is evolving, right? Shoppers on average before used to have, we're saying 6 to 8 touch points before they actually make a purchase decision. We're now starting to see that get messier and more complicated with the presence of both online and offline opportunities, including in store. So it's upwards of 10 to 12 touch points before they're even deciding to purchase your product. So really understanding your customer at the center and then building the products, building the touch points, interacting with them in those spaces is so critical to growth and to driving your business forward. We talked a little bit about being where e-commerce is and evolving with e-commerce as it evolves. That's another huge place, right? So just understanding where e-commerce is evolving and leaning into that is pivotal. Organizations that I've had experience working with, and I'm seeing it externally as well, e-commerce performance is playing a larger role in the total performance of the business today.
100%.
And it's only going to continue to grow, right, David? It's going to get larger, and we're going to continue to have a bigger presence in total performance. So this space is key and having a pulse on that space as well.
You mentioned kind of all the different touch points, this expanding customer journey now. Will you just take us through what does that journey look like today versus maybe what it looked like a few years ago?
Yeah, I would say before, if we were to take a look at a consumer journey, it might be something like, hey, I'm going to go in store to purchase X product, and I might speak to a friend before I came into that store.
Yeah.
I might not purchase that product right now, but I might go back home. I might take a look at what is, popping up on my search results, etc. And then I might go back in store and purchase that product on my next shopping trip, right? Today, that individual might actually start their search online before they even speak to a friend, before they even walk into a store. So that's a big change in itself. Then outside of going in the store, outside of speaking to friends and or the community, they are going to go onto their social, commerce platforms like TikTok and like Instagram.
Yeah.
And they're going to see what's new in these categories that I'm looking to purchase within. Because, hey, I might want to try something new that I'm not aware of. So that's another area as well. So a lot of new touch points that are coming to play that just have not been in the fold previously. And, let's not even get into AI, but AI is continuing to evolve as well and potentially starting to be a role in shaping consumer behavior too.
The journey has changed. And I think also about how consumers find out about new products now is very different than the way that process worked in the past. So it's a great thing to be thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other areas that you worked on is these partnerships with the retailers, working with Amazon and, of course, other retailers. Don't tell us any secrets, of course, but is there anything you can share about what works best? How do we get the best performance, and any insights on working with these partners?
I mean, the one thing I will say, right, is there's a lot to learn just from Amazon itself, right?
Yeah.
Them being the pinnacle leaders in the e-commerce space. They are always innovating. They're always inventing. So being in the know of what they know is critical to success in this space. That's important. The second piece is strong relationships, right? So I'm going to talk like just day to day in your work and leading your brands. Strong relationships are key to having a successful partnership with Amazon. So your vendor manager relationships, your leadership engagement, those connection points are so critical because they can help you manage any challenges, learn about new opportunities, et cetera, as well. So those two are important. But the last one I'll say, which I think everyone goes through when they're in the Amazon space, is AVN. AVN negotiations can honestly lead to a very successful year, or they can create a very challenging year, right? So there's so much preparation that goes into AVN negotiations for the right reason. And that is such a critical element of having a strong partnership with Amazon, and one that I will also mention. So those three are pertinent and, areas that I've learned just working day to day with Amazon.
When you're preparing for those meetings and those business reviews, what do you like to do? How do you think about the business to make sure that you're as prepared as you can be?
I mean, first, just taking a look at the data, right? So taking a look at your current performance
Yeah.
and also where you want to take it the next year and or the year after. Having that be your foundation is so important prior to going into any AVN negotiation. Lastly, really understanding from an industry perspective what you're hearing about Amazon AVN negotiations. So usually there is a lot of discussion online around AVN negotiations around the time of negotiations. So taking that time and due diligence, right? Going online, seeing what you're hearing, talking to external agency partners that can bring additional insight into your conversation. Those things are critical and will give you insight prior to going into those conversations as well.
Yeah, great thinking. And one other area where you've really been a pioneer is working with and leveraging some of these newer platforms for e-commerce around social.
Yeah.
First of all, tell us what platforms are you excited about, and then I've got a couple of detailed questions on how you work with them.
Oh man, there's a lot that I'm excited about. There is so much that's evolving right now. Just take a look at gamification, right? And you're seeing gamification rise in certain industries like beauty, also within the food industry as well. You need to ensure that you have the right content, right, within those spaces. But areas like Roblox, areas like just even through Amazon, gamification is becoming larger. So that is one that I'm keeping my eyes and ears open and watching and seeing where I can insert the right brands into those spaces to win.
And for our listeners who maybe are in different categories, what's an example of gamification that you kind of see in the experience?
So one that I'm watching right now is Elf Beauty. If you take a look at what they're doing on Roblox, it really gives you an idea of how you can create a community outside of your store into a digital environment and almost have several brand extensions within that environment as well that you're not offering in store. So take a look at that. It's this idea of creating your own reality in a digital space, and shoppers are interacting with brands in a different way than they actually interact with these brands in store.
Super helpful. Now you were going to mention, I think, also some other platforms and opportunities. Tell us more about those.
Another one that I'm watching is CTV. So, CTV is not new, although the engagement around CTV has jumped like tremendously. So engagement has grown up to 75%, where it's been more in the 58%, like the start of 2020. And so that is a huge opportunity to build engagement in new spaces for brands. When you take a look at areas like streaming TV, smart TVs, even things like YouTube TV, there are new opportunities that are arising as a result of engagement increasing on CTV alone. And that's another area that is getting me excited.
Now, when you think about content, what do you think about from the brand perspective in terms of different kinds of content you might want to be building or thinking about or using to stand out in the space?
I do believe that brands can build larger content toolkits that, whereas previously we're very focused on like display, still content imagery, but evolving more into video content and interactive content, in addition to your traditional still display imagery as well. And, this content can then live on multiple platforms outside of just your desktop, but it could be on mobile, it could be on streaming TV, it could be on YouTube TV, etc., as well as you build out your video content as well.
These are great insights. Now, you've been a pioneer in these categories and on these platforms. I can't think of anyone better to ask about pioneering the next wave of what's going to be happening in this space. What are some of your predictions, or what are you keeping an eye on for the next couple of years when it comes to Omni and e-commerce?
Wow, there's a lot. There's seriously a lot, but I'm looking at three areas, right? So I'm really watching the space of technology. That's one. Second is, we mentioned this before, but consumer behavior. So keeping my pulse on consumer behavior. And then third, looking at areas of just new capabilities as well. So starting with capabilities, looking at AI. We talked about AI shaping search, and really optimizing search. I see it going from just keyword search to what I'm calling searching for moments or searching for questions. And brands now have the opportunity to just go beyond keyword searches and really be present during these question searches or moment searches as well online now. And so that's a huge opportunity within AI. And then also, I would say technology. I'm seeing an opportunity for companies to look to build technology internally to really help them scale and bring speed to market in a faster way. So there is an opportunity there as well from a technology perspective. I'm watching, seeing how organizations are building up that arm of their business to build speed and build scalability as well in this space. And then we've heard of the rise of retail media. It's projected to land at over $60 billion by the end of 2024, which is incredible. And they're looking to see it surpass over $100 billion by 2026. Just incredible momentum in that space. And I believe it's due to consumer behavior. We mentioned just multiple touch points and being able to build a strong omni-channel presence for your brands and lean into these retail media partnerships as well. So those are three key things that I'm watching right now. And these are the areas that I believe are going to drive, the future of e-commerce and the future of retail media and omni-channel marketing.
We'll check back in with you this time next year, and we'll see. I imagine the retail media numbers really are amazing to see the speed of growth. And I think it's a great point as well on how brands are adapting to bring these capabilities in so that they can execute even faster. So all really great points. Well, Neha, we've covered a lot of amazing topics, a lot of ground from your experiences, different platforms. I have a few fun wrap-up questions for you. The first of which is your favorite reads. If you've got a couple that you can share with us, we'd love to hear about them.
Oh, man. My book club is going to really put some pressure on me to answer this one correctly. And they might not agree with all of these, but personally, from a personal development perspective, I've loved Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's the idea of taking a current habit and stacking it with a new habit that you're looking to get more consistent with. And that has been a game changer for me just from a personal development perspective. So that would be a great recommendation to give. And then the second is professionally, as I'm starting a new position, a book that I just came across. It's called The First 90 Days. It's great. It's by Michael Watkins, and it really gives you a strong framework on how to set yourself up for success coming into whether it be a new company, a new department, a new team. And that's professionally a great read as well.
These are great ones. Now, I feel like you could write the book. If I were going to title it for you, it would be called Leadership Through Listening and Learning. And I think those are some wonderful insights. I'll check out the books. I've heard of the first one, Atomic Habits, which is a great read, and I'll check out the second one. Now, if you get some time outside of work, when you get some time and outside of family, what do you like to do? What are some of your favorite hobbies?
Ooh, I love to bake. So my family has a baking competition every Christmas.
Love it.
I have yet to win, so that's the only thing. But I do love to bake. And so
it sounds like you have fierce competition there.
I really do. Some of the men in my family are amazing, amazing bakers. And they come up with these like crazy concoctions that taste so good. So yes, we have a huge baking competition at the end of the year. So I'll have to keep you posted which recipe wins. But
all right.
Yeah, Huge baker.
Now, our friends at Instacart ads, I believe, have a new recipes opportunity. So maybe we can take that and use that to pull the personal and the business to together there.
Let's do it. I love that idea.
All right, perfect. So baking and travel, the outdoors, I hear those are things you enjoy as well.
So yes, outside of baking, I really enjoy being active, whether that's walking or yoga or dance. Just honestly love being outside in nature as well. So that's a huge area that I enjoy. And then lastly, travel. Just love exploring new areas and learning about new cultures. That honestly shapes my day to day as well and who I am as a person. So I truly enjoy traveling as well.
Those are great. Well, we'll check back in with you also on the results of the baking contest. I'm eager to hear about those. And it's been such a pleasure talking with you. If our listeners want to get in touch with you or hear about your new newsletter, tell us about that and, of course, how they can reach you online.
Absolutely. So I will continue to stay active on LinkedIn. So please do connect with me here in this space on LinkedIn. And the new newsletter. So does not have a name yet. So I am actively taking submissions for a newsletter name, and I will give you full credit if I do choose to pick one. But, the newsletter, really, I'm looking to bring two things into the ecosystem. One, this idea of connecting brands to buyers, but then also connecting buyers to brands, flipping it and really thinking about it from that perspective as well. So that discussion will be coming through the newsletter, and also building presence, whether it be a brand's omnipresence or your personal presence. There will be an aspect of that as well in the newsletter. So I hope that gets people excited, but that's what's to come.
Hopefully you'll receive some great suggestions for the title of the newsletter. And I'm really excited to hear that and kind of see the first newsletter come out. And then I wish you all the success. I know we've been building the podcast here, and you start out and you build the audience and you find great people like yourselves who are willing to spend some time with us, and that's turns into a great thing. So I'm really excited for both your new role and your new opportunity that you're taking on, as well as the newsletter.
Thank you, David. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been great getting to know you and the company, and I'm looking forward to a lot of great partnerships moving forward. Thank you.
Likewise. Neha, great having you on Beyond the Shelf, and hopefully you'll come back soon.
Sounds good. Absolutely. Thanks, David.
I hope you enjoyed today's show. Beyond the Shelf is brought to you by It's Rapid. It's Rapid is the platform Pepsi, Sierra Nevada, Revlon, and hundreds of other leading brands and retailers use to build personalized content at scale. Whether that's images, videos, or product descriptions for their product detail pages, shoppable videos or banners for their digital ad campaigns, or sell sheets for sales enablement, brands that use It's Rapid are able to produce high-quality, on-brand content on average more than 80% faster than category competitors. To find out more, please visit itsrapid.ai. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Beyond the Shelf.